Okay, welcome you all, whoever is on time for the session 8A. Here I'm going to cover initially just a very high level overview of TensorFlow. We will not go into the details of each and everything that is there inside. We will do it over the time. But here my idea is to give you some good, very high level overview and then start with the installation today so that from tomorrow we can start using the environment that we have created today. So initially, to start with references, I'm sure you guys know how to get these documents. I cannot tell you what to do that here in the recording. So get this PDF or buy it if you can. This is a very good book that we will be using very closely for implementing the models, and I'll be referring to this document and the code what is written here mostly to demonstrate the behavior of TensorFlow. This is another reference book which you can read if you are not already heard about it. But there are many books, but I feel this is also good one. And this also talks more about internal of machine learning and how it is implemented. So this is also to learn about machine learning, and what the first reference book is actually to implement it in Python and TensorFlow and to port it onto the embedded platform, which is covered in the first reference. So that's the order I have given you. Most important is to have the reference one. Okay. Oh, fine. Now let us see what is TensorFlow. This is the symbol which you might have seen it. It was developed way back. I think internally they might have done it much before 2015, but it came out to the world, outside world, in November 2015, and this was initially created for their internal use, Google, and then they made it open source. They made it available for both generic use as well as commercial use. Maybe if you are using for commercial purposes, you may have to pay something royalty. I'm not sure. But this is an open source platform because the fact that it is open source, I don't think we need to pay for using it or modifying it. Wonderful thing to learn about it. Other things are PyTorch, but we will be using the TensorFlow in our course. Once you learn one framework, I'm sure you will be able to learn other things quickly. It has got a very very good set of tools and libraries and lots of community resources which people write code and write lots of models and make it available, port it onto different hardware, different platforms. So it's very well supported in the open community also, open source community. So it provides collection of workflows. That means workflow means the way things have to be done in the sequence. What is the sequence of things to be done? And they are very intuitive in a sense. The names and the modules are very intuitive to use it. Very high level API, so you don't need to know internal behavior. You need to know the behavior, but you don't need to know the implementation. And we can generate machine learning models in not only Python, in various languages. Okay. And it could be deployed on cloud or mobile or edge devices. The model, we can do it, port it onto different platforms. And it follows imperative programming paradigm. If you might have heard about it, declarative programming is what we normally write a C code where we declare variables and functions and do that. Imperative programming means which is the instructions are given like a procedures which can be understood by the computer or the compiler very easily to generate the code for implementing it. In the sense, it is very efficient. Imperative programming is very efficient. So they have used this for the TensorFlow. And it also uses Keras API, which I will talk about shortly. And it uses eager execution in the sense whatever all the instructions given, the equations are to be computed. They are all done in a shortest form and with a minimum overhead, so that it can be easily um, performed or easily executed. The reason is, that in a neural network millions of nodes can be there. So every operation that is done and every node needs to be done in a most efficient way, that we can realize a huge network, a neural network, to accomplish our job. So efficiency is very important, and eager execution is one of the method of achieving it. And it is being used by Google themselves inside for many products and projects which are listed here. So this is very, very high level overview of what is TensorFlow. Okay, I'm not even getting into the details of what is a tensor and how is it flowing. That we will come to that later. When we see a actual implementation, we will talk about it. Now this is very important to understand the overview, that the TensorFlow, whatever models you develop, can be fine-tuned for a particular CPU or a GPU, or it could be for a TPU, which is internally developed by Google as a tensor processor unit. You can learn more about that TPU later. I'll give you some links for that. And these are all the lower level TensorFlow APIs, which basically helps you in developing different layers of your network. And when we develop, we need to optimize it. We need to measure the quality of the network so that you can fine tune it. So we need to measure the losses, in the sense what we expect the model to come out, and it's like a learning network wherein you want to train the network based on the losses that you measure, based on what is the actual output expected and what is that the model is giving you. So we compare that and then try to reduce the losses. So for that, we need to extract the metrics of the model, which are all supported in the TensorFlow. And Keras is that a top level API wherein it abstracts out some of the TensorFlow API so that you get a higher level APIs for implementing some model. So you don't need to know every API of TF. If you know at Keras level, you know what API to use, which model to generate, and it will internally call those TF TensorFlow APIs to implement the lower one. Based on what exactly the hardware that you are running it on, it may choose one of them to run it finally, the model whatever you have developed. Okay, this is very top level view of the different layers of TensorFlow toolkits. Now let us see. You already know quite a lot about neural networks, so I am not going to go into the details. So you know that there are so many layers, input as well as a lot of hidden layers. Then we need to fine tune it, train it by using the known input and the known output, compare it with the model. So we need a loss function, we need to define, and then optimize your network for, and then we need to train it. So these are the different steps in developing a neural network. Finally, get a trained network for us to start using it. Now we will be using one important model to understand the TensorFlow and to port it onto ESP32. Which one is that? This is the sine wave generator, which you might have seen it in the on internet. What we need to give is, as you know, that sinusoidal waves are varying from -1 to +1, the values. What you feed is between one cycle, which is given in radians, 2 pi radians, 360 degrees. So this is y, the actual output of the sine wave, and what you give it here is x, which is nothing but radians. So if you give a number between 0 to 2 pi as an input, it gives you y. Okay, so we want to build a model which builds a sine wave, which can recognize a sine wave. So that if you give an x, which is between these two values, it should be able to give you the value of y. Okay, we will be developing it using I have not counted it. We will be developing it 16 nodes, and the input is given here. one hidden layer and then one output, and then we will optimize it. We will see how it is performing, and then we will be adding one more layer also to understand how it is doing. Okay, this will be learned quite in detail. And then this is a generic classification model wherein output is of not one single output. Here, actually, we are predicting the output, so it's regression model. And this is like a multi-label classification model wherein we want to classify the input either as maybe cat or a dog or whatever. Okay, so this is just a higher level overview of network models, neural network, which you are already familiar. Now, Keras is a deep learning API written in Python. Okay, this has been written in Python, running on top of the platform, machine learning platform, TensorFlow. It was developed with the focus on enabling fast experimentation and to do good research also. It is now integrated into TensorFlow. So, though you will be installing them in different steps, TensorFlow 2.0, we will be using it in our course, not 1.1 or 1.0. Some of the examples in the internet will be 1.0, which will not run on 2.0, so it's not backward compatible. You may have to change some of the APIs if you come across that. So you need to be very clear about which TensorFlow, either you are using 2.0 or 1.0 sequence, similar to Python. Okay, you know Python 2.0 and 3.0 are not same, they are not compatible. So we need to be very careful. So we will be using the latest one, which is on 2 series. The Keras model can be run on TPU also, okay, which I mentioned about tensor processing unit hardware developed by Google, and then it can be run on GPU of NVIDIA or normal CPUs also. And if in fact it could be run on a small system like ESP32 also. Okay, so I'm not going to spend more time on this. This is only to give you a very, very high level overview. So let us stop here. I am going to now start with the installation. Let me see if there are any questions even before this. Okay, none. So what I plan to do, okay, let me just highlight it, what we are going to do, and then I decide, I will leave it to you whether you want to do it now or just observe what is happening and take the video, do it yourself tomorrow. But you need to be ready by 4 p.m. 4 p.m. tomorrow for us to use the environment. Okay. So what I plan to do is I want to create a new environment on Anaconda Navigator as TF 2.0 class. This class means our class. Okay. Which I will be using it in our class so that all of us can have one environment in Anaconda, which all of us are using, so that even during the exam or during the assignment, you develop something and then give me a code, I can just run it on the same environment and it will work without any problem. So I want you to get used to develop, especially when you are getting into more of models, you should know on which environment you are running them on. So I want you to use this particular environment so that all of us, even if I share some code, it will run on your machine without any problem. Similarly, when you submit something, I can run it on my machine without any problem. So all of us should have a common platform where we run it. So what we need is, we need Anaconda, of course, Navigator. Okay. In this, we will create this environment, which is where we will install 2.0. I will tell you which version of TensorFlow is installed and then which version of Keras is installed, so that you will also be doing it and you will also get the same thing on your machine, so that all of us are on the same page. Now, my suggestion is, I am using my Wi-Fi. I hope today it is okay speed, because you are also streaming now my video, so your machine may not be as fast as mine. So if you start installing it parallelly, I may have to slow down. So what I plan to do is, I will do it in my speed. I leave it to you whether you want to do it along with me or just you hold on and note down all the things and then do it yourself after the exercise, after the class. Today I will do only 1 hour. Okay, we will try to finish it before tomorrow. I would like to take 2 hours. Let me know whether it is okay. Please check with everybody. Tomorrow is what? Today is Wednesday, so Thursday, 4 p.m. to maybe we'll have it at 6 p.m. If you remember, one class we need to compensate for, and this class we will use this whatever environment we are creating today, so that we'll develop some small application or a small program and understand more about TensorFlow also in the class. So tomorrow I want to confirm information from you, one of you, whether 2 hours, 2 hours is okay for you, or any other clashes is there, or any difficulty is there. Let me know so that I can plan accordingly. Now, one more suggestion I want from you guys. We have classes on Monday, Tuesday lab, Wednesday, and Thursday. This is 2 hours, 6 to 8. You know this, 4 to 5, 4 to 5. Now, I want to combine these two, okay, to have it 4 to 6, 2 hours, and Thursday you are free. Here we'll have only 1 hour. I don't want to do more than what you are scheduled for, because you have other courses to handle. So I will not take more time, but I want to, from next week onward, okay, next week, I want your opinion if this is okay or not, because we can do it on either this or this. I leave it to you, but you need to, I prefer this because you are having constant time, free time to do whatever you want, practice, assignments, all that. Now, what is the advantage? If you have 2 hours of time together, we will be able to do something constructive in a time given. Okay. Otherwise, I may have to stop in between and then start off again, and it will be a lot of gap in between, so that you will also miss out on what was discussed, and I will also forget what I am covering. So there will be a lot of wastage of time. If you want, we can even make some 10 minutes break or leave 10 minutes early. I am fine. I know sitting for 2 hours will be very difficult for both of us, but looking at the advantage, I am in efficiency, I am suggesting this. If you guys are fine, I want a confirmation for this, as well as for tomorrow's class, which is a compensation class. That is going to be also 2 hours. Okay. You decide and tell me. No need to confirm today, but you can consult with your whole class. I know most of them don't turn up, but
Hello, sir.
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, we have a class in the slot of 4 to 6 on Wednesday.
4 to 6, how can you have? I have class at 4, no?
Sorry, 4, I meant 5 to 6 and 6 to 7.
Oh, okay. Fine.
But we are free in the Thursday slot.
Oh, okay. Good. That is good to know now itself. Okay. I am okay, fine. Then it will be good for you, because Wednesday I am boring you from 4 to 5, and then 5 to 7 somebody will be teaching you. So we'll take a break on 4 Wednesdays. So tomorrow also I will not have it then. Okay. Then we will move it to Thursday then. Is that okay? Thursday 4 to say 6. Tomorrow also I can move it, tomorrow's class, so that we'll do it on Thursday. I will send a mail anyway for confirmation. Is that okay for you guys? At least you can tell me. Tomorrow, let us not have a class. That is Wednesday. So Thursday, what day it is? 2nd April. Huh? 2nd April, 4 to 6 p.m. Is it okay? At least those who are here, can you confirm whether fine? Okay. I don't know about others. So, okay, fine. I think most of you may be okay. So let us cancel the class tomorrow. I will send a mail anyway to confirm. And we will have it from this week onwards, Thursday only classes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Tomorrow is Thursday.
Oh,
Sir,
okay. Okay. I am totally confused. Okay. Tomorrow, 2 hours. Okay, guys. Tomorrow, 2 hours. Okay. Thanks for reminding me that tomorrow is Thursday. 2 hours. Okay. The next Thursday, no. Okay. What does that mean? The Debashish. See, tomorrow 2 hours we want to have because I have a compensation class which I am supposed to do it. And then next week onwards, Wednesday classes will be cancelled and we'll have 2 hours. Okay. So don't think I am eating too many hours in this week. Okay. Fine. I hope you guys are fine with that. Let us fine. Okay. Let us now look at the installation. I leave it to you. What do you want to do? Okay. Let us first. I'll give you the run through the whole sequence once, and then we start doing it live. So before we start any environment creation, I am sure you may have many environments in your Anaconda. So you should know how to delete it. Okay. Uh, Always before we create, we want to delete it. So what should I do? Suppose you may know that when you open a navigator, it will open in the base root environment, which is a default environment it opens up. So do not delete this. Okay. It's like root, deleting our C colon root directory or Linux C root directory. Okay. Now we have so many applications. I'm sure command.exe is the command prompt of navigator, which we'll be using it for giving some commands. So one thing you remember in Anaconda, okay, this installation using Conda is preferable than the other methods, okay, because Anaconda is adapted to this and it will do all the dependency check and install all the packages needed. So it is much more cleaner way of installing things on Anaconda environment with the Conda commands wherever you come across. Okay, is preferable. I have learnt it with my own experiments and then burnt my finger and then lots of iterations went through. So I don't want you guys to go through the same pain. Now you can view the list of environments already installed. Okay, remember this is minus minus. It's not a single hyphen or something. Minus minus. So you can on the Anaconda navigator window. Sorry, command Anaconda command environment. You can window. You can see this. What are the environments you have? You can also drop down menu. You can see. And then what you can do is if you want to delete something, okay, make sure that you don't run any application on that particular environment already running on. Okay, close down, make sure that nothing is running from that environment, and then you can delete that particular environment. This is the name of the environment, and you can delete it using this command. Okay, we will do it. I'm not going to. I don't have anything which I can delete now, so I don't want to try deleting something which is useful. But you can do it in case if you have an environment which you have created it by mistake or it is not giving properly output, you can just delete it using this. But make sure that any program that you ran successfully on this environment may not run on the other environment that you create with the different versions of TensorFlow or Keras or whatever. So it is very important to know the environment in which you are running your code. This is environment, and then the code what you run, they are tied to each other most of the time. Sometime maybe it will be portable. This code may run on the latest environment, but something may fail. It will not be straightforward. Okay, you should know that. If you are deleting something, make sure that you are not losing out. Otherwise, keep the environment yourself. But the problem is, it will eat up your space in your C drive. If you have installed Anaconda on C drive, it will eat up your space on C drive. Okay, this is the list of environment that I had. Okay, I'm just listing down so that you know how to do it. And then after removing it, you can just check it so that what you have deleted is gone forever. Okay, this is just to know how to delete it. Now we are going to create a new environment with the name tf underscore 2.o underscore cls. Cls is to say it is used for our class. Now you know that. Okay, one more thing I learned by doing it. There are so many methods where how you can install the TensorFlow, but what happens when you install it using some other method without creating the new environment? If you install it, it gets into some trouble. Okay, your programs will not run properly. A lot of issues come up. So it's always preferable to install the TensorFlow along with the environment. Okay, what happens is then all the dependent things are installed along with the environment, like NumPy, okay, uh, and even Keras, some part of the Keras, and some Python version, okay. Everything gets installed along with the TensorFlow. So it is creating along with the name. This minus n is a short form of minus n is a conda command for minus minus name, short form. So this gives you the name of the environment on which you want to install 2.0. If you don't mention this, it means that it is 1.0 and it installs TensorFlow 1.0, which is not what we are going to use. So do not install it, it will not run. So we need to use equal to 2.0 so that it installs the TensorFlow 2.0 in this environment, and it creates the environment and installs TensorFlow. So it's two things done in one go, one command, and which is very efficient and it does very well. Then you need to activate the environment. Otherwise, you will not be able to install applications in that and then launch them. So you need to activate it immediately. Then you can see it from the top left. I am sure you know it. What I prefer you to do is use these two. For sure you need it. We are going to use the spider only for our development of TensorFlow also. And I want to add the, as I mentioned earlier, I want to add notebook, Jupyter notebook editing capability to the spider IDE. So this is the command for adding this notebook editing capability to the spider. So you don't need a Jupyter notebook, okay? You don't need it, but it will automatically get installed when you do this. But you don't need to have Jupyter notebook, or you don't need to go to Colab to, okay, train your model. You can do everything on your local machine, and the code that you use will be PNB, okay, on spider, okay. So the advantage is you are not dependent on Colab, and you don't know what version of TensorFlow is running there, and you don't have the control on it. So if you do all the development on your machine, I know that some of you may have very low end CPU with a less memory where training will take more time, but I will tell you some tricks to avoid running it more often by just running only cell by cell. I'm sure you may be knowing it. So that also you can do, so that you develop everything in your local environment so that you have a control on what you are running on, what it does, and the program, if you run it again, it will run for sure. But Collab is not in your control. I'm not saying I'm not against Collab, okay, please don't read me wrong, but you need internet access, you are not independent. So a lot of pluses and minuses are there. I leave it to you. But the problem is, if you use the same version of the environment and then run it on your own machine, the dependencies are less, and the successful execution will be, probability is more, okay. So we will be installing the capability of editing the notebook on spider, and then you will see this too, and you can see the versions of what you install, okay. But when you do all this, you will finally get an error that it is not successful, the installation is not successful, okay. To remove this error, you need to do some more. And the same environment, you need to do the following. You need to upgrade your TensorFlow installation to the latest version, okay. I gave 2.0 there. After that, I am upgrading it. I want you to do the same flow, because you may do in a different way. It may be successful, but I don't know if there are any other problems that can crop up later on. We will not be able to fix it ourselves, or at least I will not be able to help you in case you get into some trouble. So follow the same steps, even though something may be longer method of doing. So after you do this, you will get the successfully message, and you need to upgrade the Keras also. So as I told, 2.0 when you install, okay, Keras also gets installed. But when you are upgrading the TensorFlow, you need to upgrade Keras also, okay. It is little bit, what is happening is TensorFlow is here and Keras is here, as I mentioned. So you need to upgrade both, so that they are the latest version that it is available, okay. We will do that. And matplot, we need it for plotting our model output. So you need to install this also using Conda. a very clean installation. Then what you do, bring up Spider, and then you can see the version. Now it is TensorFlow is running. You will have a version which is updated, okay, 2.4.1. Now you may get some error like this, okay, in case if you have a GPU. I have not yet tried the GPU installation of TensorFlow. I want to do it soon. If you have done already, no problem, but I want you to use only this version without GPU, because that will be uniform across all the users, and I will have one more environment wherein I can run all your code. I don't want one student giving me a CPU version, one student giving me a GPU version. I'm sure I will have difficulty in running them. Please, I'm not sure whether I can even run the GPU version on this, because it's not possible. Okay, I need to install TensorFlow GPU version if I want to run the GPU generated model. So I want you to all stick to one model, because all of us do not have a laptop with a GPU. I'm going to use this for my class as well as for all of you to be using it also. But for your own experimentation, you can use installation GPU installation, and you can try it out yourself, no problem. But in the exam, please try to use this model, this environment, so that all of us are on the same page. Okay guys, that's all I have. Let us now go. I will go in the same step so that I have not missed out anything. Let me see if there are any questions here before we go. Yeah, you are right. Keras is there, as I mentioned, but later on, if you want to upgrade it, you need to upgrade it separately. Okay, fine. Now we have almost 30 minutes for installation. Let us do that. I am going to do everything from the beginning so that there are no surprises. Please ask me in case if you have any doubts. Okay, Anaconda is coming up. Because now OBS is running on my machine, it will be a little slow. Maybe I should stop the recording. Okay, OBS recording I will stop, because no, let it be there. Fine. Now you have a base root, and I have other environments here. Okay, I am going to create a new environment for our class now. So keep it in base root only, and launch the command.exe. So you can see the environment in which this prompt Anaconda prompt is invoked on. So you can always verify whether on which environment it is running on. Now we are going to create a new environment from the base root environment. Okay, so what is the command? Let me keep it in a reduced font. Okay, fine. Now conda create minus n name tf 2.0 class, which is going to be used in the class TensorFlow equal to 2.0. Okay, fine. It may be a bit slow because of our streaming happening and then my OBS running and happening, but still okay. I want the complete thing to be captured in our recording so that you guys can speed up and then advance it and watch it. Okay, so that we have one recording of complete installation captured. Okay, so it says that we need to activate it if you want it to be activated. So let us do that. Conda activate tf 2.0 cls. Correct? Okay, done. Now we have installed the environment. It is there. So let us now select it. Okay, so what happens? Default these two are there already and rest of it is not there. First we want command.exe to be installed, which is here. So let us install it on our class environment. Okay, okay, done. Launch option is showing up, so it is ready to run. One more most important thing, our friend Spider. This will take little more time because it's a bigger package application, so it will take more time. In the meantime, can we do something? Let me see whether there are any questions to be answered. Okay, nothing is there. Fine. So it will wait for a while. So one suggestion I have, do not keep this command prompt too many things open from different environments. Okay, there is a possibility that you will make a mistake, that you are giving a command on some other environment and you will have a difficulty. But I think here you can see that it change over from base to the new environment that we have made it. Okay, I don't know whether it will happen always. I have not verified it. So it has automatically gone into the new environment which we chose. So no issues. In this case, it has gone to the what environment that we have created now. I didn't do that. It has done it itself. Okay, so Spider is taking more time normally. Finally done. Okay, now let us go to the steps what we are supposed to do. We have activated it, we have installed command.exe. It takes more time, I have mentioned it. Spider is done. Now press the install button for those specific application that, okay, what okay, you, I don't think I want to install anything else now. Okay, now before we launch, let me see whether I have mentioned that we need to launch it or not. I want to do it this also. After installing the Spider application, let us add Jupyter Notebook edit option to Spider. So that is, I don't like this, which on its own it came up. Okay, I will open it again. Just be sure that we don't have any difficulties. Consistency is important. Okay, now let me bring up this. Okay, now I have a on conda environment command prompt. Let us give this command conda install spider notebook -c spider IDE. Okay, this is to add the notebook option, edit option also on spider. It will be a little faster. It's only a small package. And while you do it, make sure that you don't bring up the spider already. Okay, brought up the spider. If it is already up, make sure that you close the spider and then install it. I don't know what will happen. Okay, so it is done completely. Now we can confidently bring up spider. You can see that Python you can do it here and notebook you can do here. Okay, now what I want to know on IPython, I want to check whether what version of NumPy is already installed, and TensorFlow I want to use. It doesn't give. Okay, now this error is normal, don't bother about it because I have a GPU on this my machine, so it is giving me this. Now I want to know the version of what is running, so np dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore tf dot I don't know, it is little behavior is little different from what I did earlier. It has already installed 2.041. I am not sure whether I selected the right version or not. Let me check. You may be seeing different thing. Okay, because I have installed already for the other environment, it is picking up from there. Okay, you may not see the same thing like what I see. I'll tell you the reason. Okay, I am getting already 2.41 installed on this new environment that I created. You may not get the same thing, okay, because earlier I have actually done it and it was showing me only 2.0. It did not say 2.41, but I have installed it specifically, so it was showing it earlier. But because I did it for the previous environment, it is doing some optimization, Anaconda. So don't get confused. Even if you don't get 2.41, what you do the remaining thing that I give you. It may not be same as what you see here. Okay, so you may get an error like this. Let me show it for the sake of recording. Say if you are installing it for the first time, you may get an error like this. Okay, I'm not getting it now because I have already installed latest 2.4 version of TensorFlow for another environment. Because of it, it is picking up from there, Anaconda. Okay, does some optimization, I think. So don't worry, we will do the remaining steps also, which I have documented here, so that we are capturing everything. Not just because I am saying everything fine, you should not get fooled. Okay, now in case if you get error or if you don't get error also, I can try this. One thing is, if you are doing it on one particular environment, it is not going to affect some other environment, so you can do it without any fear. So pip install, I'm using pip install here now, minus minus user minus minus upgrade. Actually, I should not get anything now because already it is upgraded. I am getting to TensorFlow version 2.41 already. But in case you are not getting it, you can do this so that latest version of TensorFlow is on your machine. So let us do it. I don't know, requirement already is satisfied. So you may not get this message in case if you are not having the TensorFlow 2.4 installed already. Okay, fine. Now you are taking care of that. Then this also is part of TensorFlow, as you guys mentioned, but to be on the safer side, I am doing it. Nothing wrong. If it is already there, it will say that requirement already is satisfied, and there is nothing wrong in doing it. So install Keras minus minus user minus minus upgrade. I will get the same message already exists. So now we are set for our development. Okay. Now I think I have already given this command import, and then versions I have already given. I am getting what is shown here. Okay, where it is here 1.9. What is the version? Yeah, 1.19.5 is the version of NumPy, and 2.4.1 is the version of TensorFlow. So this is going to be our environment of all the development. Later on, if we need to enhance it, we will be doing it. Okay. Okay, one more thing I forgot, matplotlib. So let me do that also. So that in my case, maybe it may be there, but conda install matplotlib. Let us see whether this, it has not taken it. So it is doing it now. Okay. That's all. Very simple. I hope installing 2.0 on your Anaconda environment. That's all, guys. We have done it exactly at 4:15, 51. Very good. Okay, so I will stop here. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we will start using this to develop some Jupyter Notebook, TensorFlow related programs. Okay, I'm not going to show anything now. Any questions before we close? I will share this PDF immediately after the class. So our job is done. Yeah, okay, one more thing I wanted to show you. No, okay. One more thing I wanted to show you. What you do is, if you, after the installation, not all the application that it has installed is showing up here. Okay, you need to refresh once, or you can restart it. Better to refresh once, then only it will show up whatever you have done it on the command line prompt. See, Jupyter Notebook has been installed, but it was not showing up. But if you restart again the Anaconda Navigator, it will show up. So what happens is, when you added the Jupyter Notebook edit feature here, internally it has taken care of installing this also. Okay, that's why you don't see a install option here. It's a launch option only. So when you did that on the command prompt for adding the Jupyter Notebook edit option, it has installed the Jupyter Notebook also. Okay, so you can launch it and individually use it, but I find it very useful to do it on one platform, Spider IDE, which we are familiar with, and it is always familiarity is important for us to keep forwarding on what we want to learn. So keep it same IDE which you are comfortable with. Okay, this is what done by us. Okay, other things if you want you can install it based on your other course requirement. Okay, fine. If you don't have any questions, we are almost ready to. Okay, one second, I will answer your question. I will take the attendance, otherwise I will forget. Okay, what is the question? uh, I expected it. Okay, I think I explained it during the presentation. I did not get it because I installed 2.4.1 for another environment, because of which Anaconda is doing some optimization. It is not picking up from the net if it is already having it in the local any other environment. It is doing it. Okay, so you are going to get it like this. Okay, I expect it to be like this. You need to upgrade it. Yes, you need to do the steps that I explained to you. That's why I told you don't get fooled by what you see in my machine. You need to do this too. Okay, and then do this also. Then you will get this. Okay, if you want I can hold on for some more time. Others can drop off, or in case it will take some time for you. No, this will not take much time. If you have installed Spider, then um, it will be faster. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, you are getting 2.0. Okay, it could be because you may have 2.3.0 somewhere else in another environment. You might have installed it. So Anaconda is picking up from there, whatever is the latest TensorFlow you have. So do one thing, whatever is the version you have, get it here, do the steps, this upgrade, so that it will be all upgraded to 2.4.1. Okay, all of us are on the same page. All of us use the same TensorFlow version. Okay, so preferably, not preferably, it's a must. I want you, all of you, to have, when you run this version, you should get these numbers. Okay, I'm sure we are all using the same internet, unless you are using something else which is very specific to Google. How to install the notebook plugin Spider? I told you I did that. This is the version. This is the command. Okay, this is the command to add the notebook capability to the Spider. Make sure you do not run the Spider during this time. I don't know what will happen if it is running. Most probably nothing will happen, but still, let us be very clean. So close the Spider, close any other application running on your environment. Go to this environment, open the navigator command prompt, and run this command. Okay, from the navigator command prompt, Anaconda navigator command prompt, run this command. So it will not take much time. If you have already installed Spider, then only it will add the feature for editing the notebook. Otherwise, you won't get the. You will be able to only edit Python files that we normally do. Notebook cannot be edited. Okay, just to tell you, I will. You need to use this command open for opening your notebook files, not what you have here. Okay, this is for the normal Python interface. When you create notebook, if you want to open, close, you need to open this. So let me open some file for you, just to give you one more thing I wanted to tell you. Okay, some file I am opening. So it opens here, but one thing what I noticed, if you want to save, okay, save as when you do, it may default save it on the directory where it is currently pointing at. Okay, not from the file where from the location where you opened. Remember one thing. Okay, you may land up in trouble when maintaining the files. When you save it, just saving will not help, because I need to find out how to make it point to the location. But every time when you are opening a new file from new location, this problem will persist. So what you do when you do save as, please make sure you go to the same directory where you opened the file from. Okay, I opened it from here. I remember I opened a train model. Okay, same file, and then save it there so that the same version, same thing gets overwritten. Okay, so that's one thing. And then if you want to run it, I told you that if you are running a big training network, okay, it may be very time consuming. But if you are adding new cells and then you want to execute, you can actually do run the selected cell. You can keep in that particular cell and then run it, or you can run all cells if you want to do it for all the cells. Okay, so those things we will come to that later. I just want to caution you that when you do a save as, it will again open up in the location where it default point to. Okay, so you need to go to the directory where you have your real file, this file is, and then save it there. Otherwise you may have two versions and you will be totally confused if you do that. Okay, that's some limitation of this editor, I think. Or we may be able to set it up, but the problem is again you may be changing the directory of where your Jupyter notebook files are. So you better remember this for a while. Okay, once you get used to it, you will not have problem. I will only have problem because of my limited memory. Okay guys, any doubts? I hope those who are doing it along with me are successful. Yeah, yes. After updating it, gets to 2.41. Yes, very good. So I think at least I see that couple of you have done it, but I want all of you to be completing it by today or by tomorrow so that we will be ready for using this environment for running our programs. Okay, from starting from tomorrow. So we have a class as usual at 4 o'clock, not 6 o'clock, 4 to 6 tomorrow. Okay, bye bye. I have nothing to share. In case you have any doubt, no doubts, we'll close it. Bye bye. See you.